All right. Well, hey, team, Coaches Up for Change, Dee Corchin, and I am glad to be with you guys as we kick off a new month of May. Just want to first congratulate you guys on your incredible efforts, what you're doing to share Optavia, taking advantage of the Essential Start program, sharing this gift. We hit a couple milestones last month, one of which being we brought in the highest number of new clients as an organization we have ever done before, which collectively over 700 new clients, you guys, 700 new clients. So the topic we're going to talk about tonight on integrating our clients and coaching the full offering of Optavia is absolutely critical. I'll also elaborate that in a little bit more. Just such a huge opportunity we have. And we've got this promotion for another week. Another solid week, another 7 days to go out and share with abundance to everybody, because it's just a sign of how many people are looking for what we have to offer, and they need us. They need us to get out there and to be there for them, and ask and invite again, right? We've also got the Summer Slim Down Challenge. We purposely timed this with the Essential Start savings. So a way that we could take these 700 people, and we want you to be inviting and adding each one of them into the challenge as well, because what that does is integrate them into the 4 components of the program. Right now with the Summer Slim Down Challenge, we have about 65 people registered. That number will quadruple. It will be in the hundreds by the time it starts, but now is the time. So I just want to say that because it can be easy to forget. We've got lots of balls in the air, but it's an incredible opportunity to, again, just be able to invite other people in your world. The Summer Slim Down Challenge, I don't know if you noticed, but it goes Mother's Day to Father's Day. So it's a really cool little 6-week window that is there. But in addition to the 700 new clients, we had 34 coaches that ranked up to new ranks, of which 8 new leadership ranks. 8 new leadership. So between being executive directors, regional directors, of which we'll be featuring and celebrating throughout the month, but also really excited that we had a new global director, Jordan Rosa. We'll be hearing from her this month, as well as a new presidential director, which is one of the second highest rank in the company, which is Meg Johnson. So Meg, are you on? Because we would love to hear from you.
Hello, I am on, y'all. This is like such a crazy moment. And when Dee asked me if I would share tonight, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how I feel. I've heard from some of y'all who are asking, I'm shaking, who've been asking, how do you feel? Y'all, I have no idea how I feel. So, but I am just excited to share with you from my heart. And I'm going to try to do it without crying, but I have no promises. And it's so crazy that this happened in April, because I remember it was a year ago in April at Awaken. And Dee, I remember you pulled me aside and you said, Meg, you have what it takes. You told me, you saw that in me. You said you're a presidential director. And I was like, me? Like, me? And you were like, what could hold you back? And I knew what was going to hold me back. And I responded, me. And it's true, y'all. So I held myself back, and I don't even know why. I don't know if it was fear or disbelief or whatever, but over the last year, I spent a lot of time growing into the woman that I am today, and I'm still growing. I'm still doing the work on me. And a lot of that went from coming from a place of that couldn't be me to, well, why not me, right? Like, why couldn't I be a presidential director? And I think a big piece of that was because at the end of the day, if I didn't believe it was possible for me, how could I possibly be mentoring and leading people that I saw it for? I can see it for so many people. So what's up with that? Why was I getting in my own way? So I don't know exactly when it happened, but at some point, it was about 2 months ago, we were driving down Roswell Road, Will and I was like, well, I feel like a presidential director. And I said, like, I realize this is a crazy statement because it doesn't look like it. And I don't have, it's not the title on the paper, but I feel it in my bones. Like, I just feel like I grew into it. And, I started thinking of, we lead from the future, we act in the now, right? Like, that's what we do. And so I started leading as a presidential director. So I started stepping into that, making decisions like that, thinking that way, awakening people that I stinking knew had what it takes and still trying to awaken people, right? I mean, the work is never done, right? It's just who we are. And this is so funny. I walked into my favorite boutique. This was about a month ago, and I picked out a hot pink jumpsuit. I was not presidential, and I picked it out and I said, you know what? I'm going to wear this on stage. And to this day, I don't know if I'll wear it on stage this year or next year or 5 years from now, but the big shift happened when I knew that I am going to stinking wear that bright pink jumpsuit on stage, and I can just see it for myself. And so here's my question. And I have a question for you right there. Are you the person that's standing in your own way? Are you like me? Are you holding yourself back? What if you saw yourself the way that your coach saw you, or Dee saw you, or we see you? And what if you moved from, instead of why you, why not you? What if you started asking that about yourself? Why not you? What do you have to lose? What if you stop doing that one thing that you know you're doing that's holding you back? What if you stopped it? What if you started doing that thing that you are scared to death to do? What if you just did it? What if you listened to that still small voice that said, I think you were made for this? Wouldn't it be a tragedy if you didn't? Because all I know is it would have been a tragedy for me. And Dee might be the only person that knows this, but about 6 months ago, I was at a decision point and I wanted to shrink back. I almost said no. I almost walked away. I was stuck. My business wasn't growing. I felt frustrated, and I really did think about throwing in the towel. And, you know, part of it, I saw Dee's breakthrough from I&D to global to presidential to queen IPD of the world. And I was a little bit jealous of her. I was like, why didn't I get my breakthrough? And I didn't even realize how close I was to my own breakthrough. By the tender grace of God, I didn't throw in the towel. And I'm not sure what in the world happened. Like, seriously, I don't have no idea. And it may have just been time. And it definitely didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't linear, but it has been a really stinking beautiful process. So my question tonight, and sorry, Dee, I think I'm probably going over, but it's, what do you need to stop doing? What is it that you need to stop doing? I think I think the heat is rising up in you because it was rising up in me. And this, like Jamil said today, is an incredibly emotional business, and it's a business that happens up here. So don't let the whirlwind, don't let the doubts sway you from the impact that you could make for you and for the people that will come after you. I was stuck 6 months ago, and the only person that could get me unstuck was me, by taking radical responsibility over my growth and to get out of my own stinking way. So are you in the way? If so, are you ready to get out? Put a me in the chat if you're like, forget this, I'm going to get out of my own way. In our church, at church last night, our pastor said, who's next? Who's next? I love that question. So my question for you is, who's next? And hey, if it's presidential, like, you go, like, we're going to be there supporting you all the way. But maybe it's like, hey, it's just seeing that next rank, right? Maybe it's getting to executive director, or regional director, or FIBIC, or whatever it is. But what's next for you? And are you standing in your own way? And what if you stopped holding yourself back? I double dog dare you right now to pull out your phone and text your coach and let them know what it is that you are going to go for and what it is that you are going to stop doing to get out of your own way. Because I'm just telling you, you have no stinking clue how close you are probably right now to your own breakthrough if you just don't give up. So that's all I got, Dee. I hope it serves somebody tonight.
Yeah, it sure did. That was a lot. That was awesome. And it's that vision, you know. I'm reading a really great book tonight about this right now called It. And it's like, what is it? What is it that some people are just on fire and they're going, or a mission is going strong or whatever, and there's an energy around it, but it starts with a clear vision. And it started, I think, Meg, when you got that little glimpse, why not me? Why not me? You know, and I think there's people on this call, I've got some goosebumps with people that have that thought going on in their own heads. So yeah, buckle up. We got a big ride ahead of us. So congratulations, Meg. We are also proud of you. You are a light to this organization, to everyone you touch, and just congratulations. Congratulations. Somebody asked me today on a Coach Explore, I was with a client on a Coach Explore, or with a coach, with somebody who was being introduced to Optavia for the first time. And he had taken a look at the website and we were talking about the coaching opportunity. And one thing he said is, is this like just a diet? Like I saw about the food, and we had quite a conversation. And I talked about the heart of Optavia and who we are, and Dr. Anderson and conscious leadership, and what we're really looking to do in the shifting of the mind and what our thoughts are leading us to. And so I'm teeing this up for what the call is about tonight, but also want to remind you, because I don't want to forget at the end, that Dr. Anderson once a month does his Conscious Leadership Forum. It's tomorrow at noon. And this is how we go bigger. But this is the kind of mindset thinking that we're moving into as we're bringing more people along with us to experience this and to experience the full offering of Optavia. So tonight, Shauna Davis, Global Director, is going to lead a great panel of individuals who are going to speak on this topic of what we call coaching the program, which we mean just the weight loss program, versus coaching Optavia, and really coaching the full offering of what's possible: healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. So Shauna, you want to take it away?
I do. Thank you so much. And Meg, thank you so much for sharing. That was amazing. Amazing. You have put a lot of thought into my heart tonight. So proud of you and for you. Okay, so if you know what the full trilogy is on our program, pop a 1 in the chat. That's our topic tonight: is, are you coaching Optavia or are you coaching a program? And if you don't know what the full trilogy is, it is healthy body. We all know how we get to that. Healthy mind, our community and our education and our coach, and then healthy finances. And obviously that one is for building the business and bringing on coaches. And I'm really excited tonight with this panel of ladies that I have, because all of them are embracing this into their businesses. So I can't wait for you to hear from them. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to go around and ask each lady the same question. So you're going to get different spins on this one question, which is really exciting. I love these. So Gina Manley, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
Are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, so Gina, most of us initially had a lot of fear around offering the full trilogy of Optavia. What was the biggest stumbling block you had to overcome to begin confidently offering that?
Me?
Yes, Gina. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying
Oh,
my
you.
biggest stumbling block was me. My fear. I don't want to lead people. Come on, I can't do that. I'm really good with coaching clients. And as Meg said, well, why not me? But that was probably the biggest. And I think it's another thing that we all do. That person's too busy. That person said, no, I can't ask again. That person has a big leadership role in their job. There's no way they're going to be available. And so we start telling ourselves stories about other people instead of really talking to them and listening to them and awakening them to what might be possible for them.
Love that. Thank you. Lynette, I'd love to hear from you next.
Yes, thank you, Shauna. My biggest fear was that they would say yes. So again, like Gina said, that's because I did not feel that I was a leader of people. And I had a fear of speaking in front of people. So I started attending every opportunity, every workshop opportunity, and I leaned into my coaches, Frank and Shauna, because they believed in me before I could believe in myself.
I love that. Thank you, Lynette. Lori, you're next.
So when I think about when I started coaching, my biggest stumbling block was a scarcity mindset. I thought, gosh, if I start asking people to coach, they're going to take all the people. And so what I learned is to expand my friend groups. I took a social media course, started connecting, and we're not running out of people. So I challenge you to consider, do you have an abundance mindset? There are lots of people wanting to get healthy all over the place. Or are you scared, have a scarcity mindset? There's not enough to go around.
Wow, my toes have been stepped on 3 times now. Michelle, would love to hear from you next.
Thanks. My biggest stumbling block with offering coaching anyway was myself and fear. But fear that I was going to look stupid or not knowing how to field the questions and objections. That in the beginning, I felt like I didn't have enough knowledge. I don't know it all. I can't, how am I going to speak knowledgeably about this if I, what's going to, and all the stuff, right? And working myself into a tizzy. So I just started studying Dan Bell's trainings. I must have watched those, I don't know how many times, getting on all the calls, listening and absorbing. And then I focused on, instead of focusing on the things that I was not as good at, I started focusing on building up clients and getting comfortable with talking about the program. And then eventually that shift happened. And now I don't have any fear about talking to anybody about being a coach.
That's fabulous. And Michelle is growing a great business too. So, Kim, would love to hear from you.
Oh my gosh, I can so relate with everything that each of you have said because I've been in that space too. But I'm going to tell you my shift, my fear was, like Lynette said, that they would say yes. Mm-hmm. But it's not because I didn't feel comfortable leading them. I felt, how in the world was I going to find the time? I still work full time and I do this on the side and I'm trying to grow this business. But I thought, oh my goodness, if somebody says yes, then where am I going to squeeze in more time? And I'm going to tell you, at Grow Global, Dee said something to me that really clicked for me. And she said, do you think you're going to have to double the amount of time that you spend bringing on new coaches, that you're spending with your clients, and now you're going to have to double it to bring on coaches? And I was like, yeah. And she said, no, that is not the way it works. And we can help you build strategies and we can help you figure this out. And so leaning into my coaches and Shauna and Frank, I really, feel energized and brought on a new coach. And she's on our call today, Deidre. So I'm excited to have her on the call.
Love that, ladies. Thank you. And I hope you're looking at the chat because everybody in there is like, I could relate. I can relate. See, we're all in the same mindset when we come into coaching usually. Okay, second question. It's a big one. When coaching your clients, how are you weaving into your conversations the educational component, the coaching component? And with that, how did your mindset and your business change when you locked in on offering everything that Optavia has, the full trilogy? We'll start again with you, Gina.
So I think in terms of the resources and the life book and stuff, it's a matter of asking every time you get them on the phone, where are you in the life book? And sometimes they direct you with that because they're sharing something, maybe a struggle. And so you can point them in the right direction, or you can start asking them questions to get them thinking about their struggle. Because it's all about personal development, right? You can eat anybody's meal plan, but this is where we're different. And so then tying in coaching, when you're asking, well, what are people saying? And are they noticing? And how did you handle when you went out to dinner or lunch and you wanted your lean and green at dinner? And how did you do that? And you get them thinking and asking and talking about it. So then it becomes more natural to bring it up in casual conversation and to know that it might take several conversations before it goes, that the coaching opportunity might go further. And I think the final thing for me was to really truly embrace that this is not about me. It's about them and their journey and the people in their world that we can serve. And that was a big shift for me.
Love that so much. Lynette. You're muted, Lynette.
Thanks. What I feel is very similar. So each time I talk to a client, I try to cover the 4 components, and I try to cover the body, mind, and finances. And so each week I'm bringing that to them and not being afraid to offer coaching and bring them to a call, with my mentors, with Frank and Shauna. And I say to people, when people notice. So not if, but when people notice, and set up the expectation. So I'm a work in process as far as how did it affect my mindset. So I'm a work in process, and I'm learning to see and speak potential in others. Be truthful. And I had a fear of speaking. So it seems like that's something you have to overcome. And since I brought on a new coach recently, and she reached senior coach this week, Laura Weber, she may be on the call. Since this happened, I've been asked to speak twice. So we had an event this weekend, and I spoke at that, and then this event tonight. So embrace the fear, the obstacles, the way. So all that we hear is putting it into practice. So, you see what's possible, and whenever you see what's possible, you can see a little further. And then when you get there, you can see a little further. Thank you.
That's so powerful. I love that. If you can see a little farther each time you have a little win. I love that. Lori.
Yeah, I think exactly what everyone said. On all my calls, I'm reiterating the 4 components. I'm finding their wins. I'll say, what's a win for you this week? Well, I drank all my water. That's great. Coaches do that. Like you're working it in wherever their win is. That's what you're doing. One of the most important shifts for me, though, is the need to lead by example. And we know that, but it's really, really easy to, I read the life book, but we have to continually grow. We never arrive in that. So that's really important. And the other thing I do is I watch out for diet words and shift into transformation. Oh, I've been really bad this week. I'll be like, okay, let's stop right there and let's rework the psychology just a minute. And so I'm watching and I'm pushing into the transformational system.
Love that. And I want to let y'all know Lori's my coach. And the first thing I told her when I signed up was, I will not coach, so please don't ask me. Thank goodness she didn't listen to me, right? Michelle, would love to hear from you. I think you're muted.
You're right, I am muted. I just want to make sure you guys can read lips.
Yeah.
So for me, it actually starts in the health assessment when I'm really, I set them up for what we do in the health assessment. And I always talk about when they're going to become a coach. When they become a coach, this is going to happen. When why it's important to take your pictures, because when you become a coach, I'm always talking about the future and when that's going to happen. And even with the reading and all that, when we're doing the health assessment with my clients, I ask them for confirmation. So this is this part. Are you willing to take a call from me every week? Where are you on that scale of 1 to 10? Are you willing to read in your books 5 to 10 minutes a day? So right up front, I know what is going to be a weakness for them. And then on my weekly calls, I can ask them, so how is that going? Let's talk about habit stacking. And, and we work on practical systems for them to really integrate everything into their journey and we don't focus a ton on scale victories. We talk more about the non-scale victories and how they're feeling and how their life is changing for that true transformation.
That's powerful. You heard her. She starts on the health assessment and she's speaking it into her clients. When you become a coach, when you do this, I love that. That's so powerful and so important, because what we hear, it sticks. So Kim, would love to hear from you.
Yeah, my goodness. I don't know if there's much left to say. That was great, Michelle. The habit stacking is
Yeah.
that I love that. But I do a lot with my clients and really, if they're hesitant to get into their books, I really try to dig in and figure out what their fear is, right? And I was hesitant to get in my books. I will not lie. I mean, it took me a bit to get into my books, but I thought if I read those books and then I don't do what they say and I gain my weight back, I'm going to be a failure, right? But once I can talk through with people some of their fears and why they're not getting into their books, what their hesitations are, usually we can then progress and start having some other conversations about how you can use these tools, right, to help others. And I often hear a lot of my clients talk about, well, I was trying to give some advice to somebody I know. I'm like, oh, that's great. You sound just like a coach. So I just really try to tie back to the books and do weekly goal setting with them. So
Fabulous. I hope y'all are taking notes because these are some great, great tidbits for you. And what you notice as a running theme, each one of these ladies talks about coaching early on, and it's just assumed that their client is going to become a coach. Now, we know all of them won't, but we know that all of them have the potential to become a coach. So I think where we lead them is really important. All right, we've got one more question. What one piece of advice would you give to a new or struggling coach about coaching Optavia and not the diet? Gina, I'll start with you again.
Trust the system. You didn't do a diet as a client. Why would you coach your clients as a diet? Trust the system and embrace. As my coach, Lisa Bloom, always says, the life book and Eat, Live, and Be Healthy and our community calls, it's fueling for our brain. And you want to integrate your clients the same way you did as a coach.
It's powerful. So good. Lynette?
As far as advice, I think actions speak louder than words. So modeling it is the best way that I know to communicate it. So modeling it with her or with them.
That's huge. That's a big one. Lori?
Yeah, I think my best piece of advice is to lean into your mentorship. When I first started as a coach, I'm a super creative person. I'd be like, I can do this all better. And it doesn't work. The system's great. It works. We have the proof. Just lean into your mentor. And, I'm the number one person in my way. So when I got my ego out of the way and I just leaned into Dee, my business just grew.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Michelle?
I totally agree with that, like leaning into your mentorship, but also coming to trainings and really learning and being there. I've learned so much about what to say, what not to say, how to say it, what to do, what not to do, just by showing up every week on these training calls. It's been amazing. So for a new coach, making it a rock in your schedule, like we talk about, coming to training, I think is one of the best investments you can make with your time.
Absolutely. Good job. Kim?
and I just will add to what Michelle said. I could hear somebody say something today and I could hear them say it in a month from now. And in a month from now, it sounds very different and it has different meaning for me, depending on where I am in my coaching journey, right? So showing up for these trainings is really important. But I always try to remind people, when you're coaching to a diet, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Because when you get to the goal, it's done, right? And we know what happens when we have that mindset, right? We just go in the wrong direction at the end. And so, I like this saying, and I'm hoping you all agree with this, feel this is a powerful saying, but don't fear failure. The saddest summary of a life contains 3 descriptions: could have, might have, and should have. And when we coach the full trilogy, we give people so much opportunity and potential. We
Wow.
open up so many doors for them that don't they can't even see for themselves right now. So
That was the perfect wrap up to this topic. I hope you guys heard every word that each of these ladies said. And trust your mentorship, everyone. Trust them. Bring your clients to tips calls. That's one of the most important things you can do. The most important things you can do for your business. Lean into your mentorship and trust them. Don't be afraid of what they're going to say on the tips call. They're not going to blow your client out of the water. They're there to help you grow your business, because when you grow, they grow as well. So thank you so much, girls. You brought so much wisdom to the table, and I hope you saw the chat. It was blowing up. Dee, thank you so much for allowing us this time tonight. And I'm going to let you wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you to every person on our panel tonight. Yeah, like Shauna said, I hope you guys are reading the comments, because everybody can relate to this, right? We're all humans. We're all facing the same thing. And most of it is in our thinking patterns that's getting in the way of how we're showing up. And so much was about posturing and expectations. If, when we raise the bar on what we expect, people will rise with us. Right. So if you missed Jamil Frazier's interview today, I did post that in Coaches Out for Change. Encourage you to go back, because this question came up for him as well. And what he said was he got really good at learning to detach from the response and what he wanted from it, and to actually pay attention to them. And I wrote it down. He said, most people want to do better. And he learned not to believe what they say, but to ask more questions. So I think, Kim, what you said, you wrote, I wrote that down, could have, should have, would, might have, like all of that, we don't want to let that opportunity go by for somebody. So as Lynette said, lead with yourself. One thing Meg did not say, Meg lit herself on fire on fat burn in January, lost a tremendous amount of weight. So her clarity was there. Her energy was there. So sign up for the Summer Slim Down Challenge, pick something to move forward in. Maybe you don't need to lose weight, but we could lean out, we could get more exercise in, we could drink more water, but most importantly, we'll get back into our books. I just went back through Habits of Health book. I'm seeing this whole program in a whole nother light now, because I went all the way to the end in the book. So always something else to learn, another way to grow, and we're going to be perfectly positioned to help more people. So thank you, Shauna. This was fantastic. Thank you, Meg, for what you led us with. We'll see you guys on the calls later. Meg and Jordan will be featured and get to speak for a minute on DM Bell's call at 9 if you want to be on that. So we'll see you. Thanks so much.